Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good to be with you. A fine Ballsmick Wednesday to you and yours. Can't believe it already. Here we go. The NFL starts tomorrow. We have the game for you right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. That's good stuff. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Bottom line is, if you can't listen to the show live, whether you're streaming it or you listen on terrestrial radio, you go back to Apple Podcast and find the program, get caught up there. Hello, YouTubers. Email, if you'd like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. And, I think we're good. The show today, weird because we ordinarily on Tuesdays have, and yesterday was Tuesday, Seminole headlines. The week got compressed. We did Seminole headlines today, so right now Tom and I are going to take you up to that for 2 hours. Right now we'll do an hour, and we'll get going from there. There's just so much this week. It's fun. It's a good problem to have. The fact that we have Scuttlebuck still to do. Looking forward to doing that with you, Tom, as we get to talk about. It's weird because the Bucs are the story of the NFL in the offseason, and I think we probably push back on that some just because, the coach, the way we arrived at this place. I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I am saying the way we went about it, he was certainly disingenuous. And that rubs us the wrong way. And it is an experiment. It is us putting faith in something that's never been done before. No team has had any success with a quarterback this age. So there are a lot of big ifs out there. I will say I am excited. I am excited to watch the season play out. It could actually work. Admittedly.
Oh, it could. I mean, when Montana went to the Chiefs, they were good, just not good enough. When Favre went to the Jets, that was a temporary stop-off on his way to Minnesota, the arch rival of the Green Bay Packers, and they were a bounty gate away from going to the Super Bowl and maybe winning that Super Bowl. Who knows? So, yes, quarterbacks who have been legends in one place have gone and had success at their second stop. They just haven't won a Super Bowl. So Tampa Bay is trying to become the first to do it like that.
Yeah, and none were of Tom Brady's age, though. Yeah, this is old.
And I would qualify that while Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, he was in the back end of the prime of his career. And then when he did win the Super Bowl, he couldn't feel his arm. And the defense carried them to that Super Bowl, not Peyton Manning vintage 1998 or vintage 2005 style.
Yeah. His second Super Bowl win was not one that he can take a lot of credit for. His first one, he can. He beat the Bears, and he was the best player in the league that year, just about, if not the best. So, yeah, that second one, it was a whole lot of thank you for getting to the quarterback.
Thank you, Von Miller.
Yeah.
Thank you, DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, all guests appear via the Phone Hero hotline. Phone Hero, specializing in iPhone and iPad repair. 2 locations, 2915 Cary Forest Parkway, 833 West Gain Street, online at phoneherotlh.com. We have this hurry up and wait mentality right now because, yesterday we come on the air, it's a shortened week, and you're like, man, this is it. It's going to happen. We've seen the depth chart. We know the game kicks off at 3:30. We talked about the pregame show that we're going to be doing and the postgame show that you're going to be doing and all that stuff that we were excited about, still am excited about. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's go. There's nothing more for me to talk about. Nothing's really going to happen this week in the way of announcement for Florida State football. The things are, for the most part.
The only thing that can be announced would be bad news. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and it's why I'm holding my breath. I think a lot of people are, obviously. I will say this, not unusual. You guys know this about me. A lot of you are this way. It's not unique to me, but I'm a very early riser these days. Guess it just comes with age. But I did, and it was funny because I knew it was going to happen. I got a text first thing this morning, mutual friend of ours. And in addition to that, I checked now my Twitter feed, and a lot of people were on here asking this, and I knew it was going to happen. I walked outside this morning. It must have been 5:15, somewhere around there. Not to do the deck thing, but I was going out, taking out trash is what I was doing.
3 consecutive days of the deck thing now.
Yeah, not doing that. But I walked outside in the front yard, and what ended up happening was I felt a breeze. Just a slight little breeze kind of smacked me, and I thought, oh, was that? And then another one a few minutes later, and I thought, well, there's an effort. So the text I got was from Bill, And he noted that I did have final say, is what he wanted me to know. In fact, he said, I can't repeat what he wrote, but he wrote, I know you have final call, but these are some blankety blank football wins, Jeff. Twitter, hey, Jeff, are these football wins blowing this morning? In September? That's from John early this morning. Jacob, I know you are. I'm feeling some football wins in the air. It's a shame it won't last all day. Several of these for anybody that got up this morning and walked outside. Guys, they are an effort. The football wins are efforting, but it has to be a sustained effort. It can't be a breeze that caught you off guard at 5-something in the morning or 6:30 this morning, whenever you felt it. It can't just be because I'll tell you what, I'll take you back to Saturday. I'm on the driving range at Killearn Country Club, and I got smacked, and it was like 10 a.m. I got smacked in the face with some football wins, and the guy that was I guess you'd say plots down from me where he was driving, we both kind of just looked at each other, almost afraid to say it out loud, which I brought up before, but it's out there.
Is there a pop-up storm? Is this a front?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't declare it unless it's sustained. It's got to be, it's like, a bad team that gives you a good effort for a quarter doesn't mean they're suddenly a good team. You're like, oh, well, they played pretty well for a quarter. Hot days, overwhelmingly, oppressively hot days filled with plenty of heat and humidity can't not be called hot days because at 6:02 a.m. I felt a slight cool breeze for a millisecond. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at. It's not there. It's just nice that there's evidence in the air the week of the first game, admittedly.
Yeah, the North Star provides light, but it doesn't make the sky blue.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
there, but I'm forever desensitized to it until we get to about November, December. This weekend in the Blue Ridge, the lows were in the 50s, high 50s, and the highs were in the low 80s, high 70s. Unfortunately, I won't be able to judge on it because nothing will compare to that until this town gets into, I don't know, Thanksgiving at the soonest?
Usually something along those lines. I don't know. We've had weird. I will tell you, all of next week, Tom, is mid-80s, low 70s, high 60s.
What more can you ask for on the 15th of the month?
I'm going to say, what are we doing? That doesn't suck. That is them efforting. The football wins are trying to kick down that door.
Tell you what we're doing. We're tailgating at a median of the road somewhere. We're just finding a spot, putting down some lawn chairs.
It's just a glimpse. My niece lives in Boston. She goes to BU, and she took a picture, and I was jealous. Sent it to me yesterday to tell me that it was 72 in Boston. Lows in the 50s. I thought, okay, go to hell. Appreciate you sending me that picture. She's like, it's getting a little nippy. Cruel. Just cruel.
But the good news is, I think, right, you are starting to adapt, that the cold is not your favorite anymore. So what they're about to experience in a couple of months, you were longing for decades, but now
forever.
You've cooled on that,
no
pun intended.
Yeah, I think my blood's gotten thin. I do like it cold, colder than most. In the back when I go to sleep, we have the air conditioning down in the 60s, much to my wife's chagrin, but she just doesn't want to hear me bitch, so that's what we do. But I used to tell you I wanted 20s nonstop. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't need 20s. You give me 50s and 30s, I'm good. Somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm good.
Even windy in the 30s, though. I think you might be.
Yeah, windy in the 30s. I would be like,
That was that Saturday of FSU Virginia Tech when you woke me up at 7:40. Yeah. Go out to get breakfast, and it's blowing like 25, and the temperature is 38. I'm like, what in the hell, man?
That wasn't terrible, though. It was okay.
That's that wind that cuts through the buildings.
Yeah, but nowadays you wouldn't have been alarmed by me waking you up. You'd be like, oh, I'm ready to go, Jeff. I'm up. Let's go. Let's get some food.
Monday through Friday, sure. On a Saturday of a road trip, not so sure.
If we had gone out boozing all night,
In which we did.
Where was it? Was that the same trip when we were in Charlotte where I got us walking home? I pulled us into that place to get some pizza with the tall boys.
No. That was ACC meetings like 3 years ago. That was after Matt, mutual friend of ours, was up for a golf tournament, and we were in this dingy
It was
bar
Irish bar. It
area
was
of
great.
a restaurant bar.
Oh yeah.
But it was a dingy bar area, nice and dark. So you don't
Yeah.
know what time it is, no matter what the time of
It
day.
was great, is what it was.
And we left, and then you wanted some post game, and you said, "I'll take 3 of those, 2 of those." You were like Rodney Dangerfield walking in the pro shop at Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Give me 4 of these, 6 of these,
I
a
did.
couple of dozen of those.
I did. Yeah.
They were like, "All right."
They loved me. I spent like $80 at this little side
You
pizza
did.
place. But I hooked this up. I got
It's like 250 slices, and somehow you walked out for $80.
Well, I remember I got a Dale's Pale Ale Tall Boy, and then
Not just one.
you were laughing. You were like, okay. And then the lady looks over and she goes, will there be anything else? I go, give me 2 more of those. You were like,
Looks good on you, though.
oh, man. See, this is all football-related material. All I'm saying is today, where the day began with just a little nibble of football wind. It was just a further tantalizing moment where I realized how close we are to kicking it off. By the way, if you listened to yesterday's show, the tail end of yesterday's show, then you know Tom thought that a good idea, given that this will be the weirdest football season we've experienced in a long, long time, because we can't be in a sense of normal, doing the show live Friday like we would for most home games at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, meeting up with you guys, saying hello, toasting to the new football season and the hopes that we all have, right? That can't happen this Friday, not physically being at Corner Pocket. Dad said, because he was listening, tell Tom I'm in. He called me at 6:05 yesterday.
Did he really?
Called me at 6:05.
Okay.
Pretty rare, by the way. My dad does not listen to my show. I mean, he
He's listening again today.
he might be.
Hello, Mr. Cameron. Can't
Yeah.
wait to give you that bear hug.
So he said, tell Tom I'm in. I'll meet you guys at the station. I'd like not 1 but 2 Frosty
Okay.
Guinness.
So we're going to have to find somebody who has a lot of cup holders.
Yeah, there you go. So we're going
All
to
right.
need 6 Guinness.
That's fine.
yeah.
That will be delicious, well received.
Yeah.
And a
That'll be-
pregame for Lightning Islanders game 3. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, it'll be big because it'll be a chance to go up 3-0 in the series with an
Hopefully.
opportunity maybe on the verge of sweeping. Just further, we'll be talking about the kind of goal disparity at that point, because 8-2 in the first game, whatever we win by tonight, 5 or 6 goals. Next thing you know, we're talking about, is this going to set a record for the greatest goal disparity in the
trying to work
conference finals?
I'm kicking. I'm not knocking on wood. I'm kicking it over here just in case. There it is.
I'll talk about Florida State football specific here about what I expect. What do I hope for and expect to see on Saturday? We'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Today's top story brought to you by our friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, proudly serving Tallahassee and the Big Bend area for more than 40 years. Top quality home comfort service, if I could talk. We use them here at the Cameron household. We use them here at ESPN. They've been around here since 1972, and not only reliable but innovative, and a lot of ways to help you out. They've got payment plans, ways to save money, maintenance plans that are going to save you money over time. And basically, look, if you're having problems with your air conditioning unit, nothing is good in life. Like, everything else is in real trouble if your air conditioning is.
I think it's one of the few things that exceeds internet issues in terms of crisis moments.
Yeah. That's true. I hadn't thought about the internet stuff because we could read a book, we can go outside, we can do something. But, yeah, when you don't have air conditioning, you really can't do any of those things.
No.
You're just miserable.
Well, and now, you got to be careful what place you choose, who's abiding by distancing protocols with air conditioning and stuff, circulated air. You make sure you go to a place like Gordo's or Bumpa's or Corner Pocket where they take care of you the right way and make sure everybody's spaced out.
They're doing the right thing. Barano Heating, Air Conditioning. Give them a call today if you need help. 850-580-4029. Alex Atkins has got a lot of eyes on him from the fan base, from this coaching staff, and obviously a lot of hopes and dreams kind of lie in his ability to get this team to produce something, anything, in the way of positive play from an offensive line that has been the bane of our existence. It's been very, very frustrating to watch this team because really nothing can begin. It's like not having air conditioning. Nothing can begin if you can't block it up, and we haven't, not with any degree of consistency. So
yeah, if the football team is a home, then the offensive line is its air conditioning. That's brilliant.
And it has faltered again and again and again. And then we hired people that were not named Barano Heating and Air, and they did not come in and do a good job. And so, again, another week went past, and another failure occurred. And it's frustrating. So now, Alex, let's rise up. Let's do what Barano does and make sure that we are able to provide quality play, in this case service, week to week. He's got a tall task in front of him, though, I will say. There's a damaged psyches, lack of talent, lack of depth. It's an awful lot to overcome. He did talk about why it was he came to Florida State University. Here he is.
Oh, yeah, that was the big reason of not only just because it's Florida State, but who it was leading the program and the offensive success they've had together. So I came to learn and also, being a contributor in every way I can. But what I've learned is just the details, the fundamentals. That's what surprises you most about these guys. You think you're going somewhere where they have this magic book of plays and they're just going to bring it out when the moments come. No, it's really installing the details, the fundamentals, the reactions of the game, and building confidence in your preparation. Coach walks around with a shirt on that says the work. It's that simple. And a lot of that gets lost in this game. We like to hype the magical secret playbook plays where, I've seen some of that stuff, but really it's about hand placement, second step, eyes, and reaction to what you see. And he does a great job of instilling those details.
Call the touchdown play, Coach. Everybody is looking for that magic at all times, and Jimbo used to say that. I think every coach, I remember coaches dating all the way back to when I was a wee lad playing football at 10, 11, 12 years old, and our coaches saying to us, it really doesn't matter what I call if you don't execute it, if you don't do what you're supposed to do. In essence, if you don't do your job, we could call the best play call against that defense. It makes no difference. It's about execution.
The one thing I will say is we've been pretty spoiled, and this is kind of rare to put these two teams together, but as Buccaneer fans and as Knoll fans, we've been spoiled to see offensive coaches who, when they're in the groove, it works like magic. And you can see that it's very much like watching a great athlete like Tiger, if he's feeling it around, especially in his prime. When Jimbo was feeling it, Clemson 2012, any number of the Miami games, and there are countless other examples, you're saying, oh, my God, he's got them weaving when we're going the other way.
Yeah.
It's zig when they're zagging, all that stuff. What about Norvell and Dillingham? Can they get in a groove, and will it look something like what Jimbo was? John Gruden was the example with the Buccaneers. Nobody scripts the first 15 plays like John Gruden does, and nobody sets up
true to this day.
An obvious player like a Joey Galloway, who everybody knows is going to go deep and be open. How's he open every weekend? Mm-hmm. How is that possible? Well, Gruden found a way. does Norvell or does the team of Norvell and Dillingham have that in them that when there is a little bit of time, can they leave you going, wow, that is an unbelievable sequence?
Yeah, well, plays beget plays, and you set people up, and then you get into that rhythm that you're talking about, and the great offensive coordinators, you see it, and you see it frequently enough to recognize it pretty quickly. Like, oh, okay, they're in trouble. They're on their heels. This is now, they have no idea. He's got them going exactly with what he wants. It's rhythmic. You're right, and we'll see.
With Jimbo, the two things that he did best, number one was it wasn't within the framework of a drive, but it's like he just knew when to call the halfback screen. He always did. Mm-hmm. And then the other play that you would see in sequence when he had them looking all over the place was he'd release the tight end. It could be the secondary tight end.
Yeah.
Could be Bo Relaford
on the
back in the
side,
day.
Usually.
Right, on the backside.
It's like a
little release, it's a little drag, it's something
yeah.
like that, and you're like, holy cow, there's nobody within 30 yards of the dude.
Oh, that happened a lot. O'Leary against Clemson. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of times you saw stuff like that. The thing that I wish to see, and I prefaced the segment before we went to break saying things that I want to see. It's funny because it's in line with what Alex Atkins just said. There's no magic formula. You do have to be disciplined. You do have to be smart. You do have to be well coached, and you have to have a plan. And everybody's got to be pulling in the same direction, and kids have to buy into that plan. They have to believe in you as a coach. They have to believe in your message, your tutelage, and they have to want to get better. But you can see those things. These are things that there's evidence for. I see it all the time in teams that are on the come. Last year, the Miami Dolphins really encapsulated this. You watch this team who's, as an organization, they were trying to throw games. They were trying to give them very few chances to actually win football games. They were getting rid of very good players, one of which we should have grabbed. Anyhow, they were getting rid of good players because they wanted to put the least possible successful product on the field as possible, and they won in spite of it. And they played each week really tough. Think about their late season win against New England that ruined it for the Patriots. But they played hard, and every week you started to notice, man, there is total buy-in. They believe in this guy, and they believe in what they're taught to do. And these are pros. These are guys that could have gone through the motions, making millions of dollars. They read the tea leaves. They know what that franchise is attempting to do, and yet they played hard every week. There was real buy-in. There was execution. And when I watch them, I'm fairly indifferent about the Dolphins. I'm a little bit more sympathetic to their plight than I used to be as a younger man. I watch them. I'm like, good for them, man. They're fun to watch. They're playing hard. They're playing smart. They're playing for that guy. They believe in this guy. I want to see evidence to that end when I watch us this Saturday. Like, it's tough to talk about what you want to see in a year and 2 years and 5 years. A little bit easier to say, what do I want to see Saturday? Well, I want to see a team that reveals that they've listened, they've bought in, that they're well coached, that there's a plan in place. They're not going to play a perfect game. They're going to make mistakes. This is still a game played by human beings, and if you don't have talent in certain segments or you have areas of weakness, that's going to get exploited by the other guy because he's trying to win too. And they are well coached. Jeff Collins is a good coach. They're going to come in here well coached. Year two, they're going to have a little bit more to offer every Saturday here this fall than they did last year when they won just 3 games. They weren't good. They're not good this year. We're not going to mistake Georgia Tech for being one of the better teams in the conference. In fact, if they're not the worst team, they're one of the worst teams in the conference. So I'm not trying to paint a picture that this is going to be tough to overcome. It ought not be. Florida State should win this game. But Georgia Tech will make you earn it because they are well coached. And I want to see that. Can Florida State do that? Do our players reveal that? Do they go out and execute the game plan? Are they able to overcome some obstacles? This is a group that you got to imagine their psyche is pretty fragile. What if something goes wrong early? And it can. You put the ball on the ground, somebody scoops and scores. How do you react to that?
Yeah, I'd like to see what the personality of the offense and the defense are because I think they're going to be different. But the offense clearly, if you think about it from a few different angles, the fragile psyche of the offensive line, which you just brought up, James Blackman's fragile psyche, and then a starter like Warren Thompson, who they're looking for consistency from. They're trying to get the offensive line and James to play on an even keel. They're trying to get Warren Thompson to play on an even keel. So is the offensive identity, the way they play the game, the way they execute, are they going to play with a lot of passion? Or is Mike trying to coach them down to say, guys, a little bit more robotic wouldn't kill you this year? For the offensive line, you want to elevate to that place. For James, you want to elevate. For Warren Thompson and maybe some others, you want to de-escalate your emotions and your passion and get it
Sure,
down to an even
sure.
keel. I think the defense is going to be about attacking. I think they're going to play with a lot of
No
gusto.
question. No question. Yeah.
But what does that offense look like? And if, adversity strikes, how do they react? Are there long looks on the sidelines? Are there huddles where the coaches, while the defense is on the field, they have to get everybody together and say, guys, rah, rah, come on, let's get it together. All of those things are going to be quite interesting as we form. Like, the culture is one thing, but the personality of the team is going to change from year to year, and I want to see what this group looks like.
As Gene Deckerhoff often says, I would like to see, in this case, a measured response as opposed to measured. I always crack up when he does
Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, so measured response from this team when they have success, but also when they fail. I need people that are in control of their emotions. We were so volatile the last 3 years. Good and bad. Big plays, man, were we pumped beyond reason. Down 21, great. That's a 15-yard play. Need a lot of those. Let's keep it together. Up by 7, or up by 14. You make a stop on a third down play, you'd think we won the Super Bowl. Just you got to be, hey, play with emotion. Football's an emotional game. I don't want to take that out of it, but it's got to be appropriate to where we're at and a greater understanding.
Well, at the quarterback position, that is something that Mike has talked about a bunch.
Yeah.
What you're talking about. Let's not get too low with the lows, high with the highs. But then you can look at other position groups and say, yeah, they're going to have to mirror that. And you just wonder if that is a forced identity of what they're going to do. Like on defense, I envision that they want to attack. They let them loose. I would think that is what Fuller's trying to do. Guys, go eat. Come on.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Let's go get you. But
Yeah.
Mike's job this year is going to be quite different because you're dealing with, it's like a tightrope walk for him.
Oh, yeah, a lot of broken personalities, a lot of broken psyches. He's got to build them up. I think you're going to be not conservative per se, but just by definition, you only can do certain things and got to set all those things up because you are kind of broken up front. Fall camp updates on the Jeff Cameron Show brought to you by Bud Light. Text football 20 to 31996 for a chance to win a Bud Light at-home viewing prize this football season. 25 winners will be chosen. Text football 20 to 31996. You got to be 21 years of age or older to enter. A message from local Anheuser-Busch wholesaler Tri-Eagle Sales. Please drink responsibly. All right, big night. So let me see here. Let me check some times as we do this. A little respectable 8 p.m. for Game 2 tonight. Feel good about it?
Yeah, I feel solid. I don't know that I expect to win because they've got to be desperate.
Well, they'll play desperate. They have to. You're right. I think you just want to see whether or not we match intensity. If so, we'll win.
The good news is, honestly, if you assess outside of the score the way that Tampa played defensively, it was below average. For their standard, it was below average. They got plenty to be mad about as a coaching staff. That's the best thing in the world as a fan. That's like the standard of the 2013 football team for FSU. It's like, you can win by a lot, but there's still so much to improve on. Think of that Miami game.
Well, that's the Miami game, yeah. Every time, yeah.
So poorly in that game.
Beat that ass without
beat
even
by
playing. Yeah.
3-4 scores, but there's a lot of coachable moments. You could take them in the film room and say, you guys suck, and you're not necessarily wrong. Defensively, Tampa, they could get chewed out yesterday, and I hope they did.
We got to get to some probables because in addition to the hockey tonight, we will have Major League Baseball. This brought to you by our friends at Whidden Glass, a family-owned and operated business serving Tallahassee and the Big Bend area since 1945. They are Tallahassee's first family in glass replacement. Highly respected, obviously, for their quality of installation, both residential and commercial. Whidden Glass, 222-5781. That's 222-5781. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
Royals, Indians, Danny Duffy, Carlos Carrasco. I feel like Danny Duffy's been pitching for Kansas City for 25 years. Just feels that way. For that matter, Carrasco with the Indians. Yankees, Blue Jays. Another game played, another game lost by the New York Yankees. But they're savages in the box. Delvey Garcia is going to start for the Yankees.
He's going to be back calling Sunday Night Baseball next year.
Tanner Roark going for the Blue Jays.
Roark's been good.
Yeah, he is. White Sox, Pirates. Pirates beat the White Sox last night. Flex. Dane Dunning going to start tonight for the White Sox. He is a rookie. Fell just short, 1 out short, actually, qualifying for his first career victory in his start this past Sunday. Kind of a you-know-what move to pull a guy 4 2/3 in.
You got to know what the pitch count, score, how many runners are on base.
I know. He gave up 3 runs, so he wasn't stunningly awesome. It's just sort of... JT Brubaker going to go for the Buccos. Took another step towards earning a spot in that rotation. He went 5 innings and got a win. He's 1-0 with a 3.96. Might we be developing somebody here? Shocking news. We called up all the kids and now we're winning games. Orioles, Mets. Did you see another home run?
DJ Stewart.
Yeah.
Laser to right field.
Yeah, that was a shot. Jorge Lopez going to pitch tonight for the Orioles. The Mets will throw Rick Porcello. Your favorite.
So before last night, outside of Jacob deGrom starts, I take it the beer starts, Mets starters ERA was over 6.30. Yep.
Tough to watch.
That's why I'm not.
Marlins, Braves, Pablo Lopez, Tommy Maloney. Hey, it's Tommy Maloney. That's a good matchup. Lopez is a pretty good pitcher. Angels, Rangers, Julio Teheran, Kyle Cody. Kind of an annoying name. Rockies, Padres, Antonio Senzatella. We've got Zach Davies going for the Padres. Reds, Cubs, Trevor Bauer, Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish, folks, is 7-1 with a 1.44. He has been the best pitcher in the National League.
He is taking the beer's number 1 contender and rival for back-to-back-to-back Cy Youngs.
Yeah, he has been, it's nuts. That Cy Young candidacy is real. He's figured it out. Remember when he first came into the league and he threw 17 pitches for strikes, 6 of which had never been documented before? Just balls going left to right and then back up and around, and it was the most bizarre thing.
He was actually, if you just looked at the stuff, what everybody said Daisuke was. Matsuzaka.
Right. Yeah,
remember the gyro ball?
Oh, yeah.
The whole gyro ball craze?
Gyro ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of stuff.
Oh, you does weird things from the same arm slot.
Yeah.
like that release, that GIF that they do with the release, it's insane to watch how many different locations and types of pitches he has from that same slot. Astros, A's, Luis Garcia and Jesus Luzardo going for the A's. Good game, Astros and A's. They hate each other. Hopefully people throw at each other again in this one. I root for more of that. Dodgers, D-backs, Clayton Kershaw having a good year, 5-1 with a 1.50. Taylor Clark going to go for the D-backs. Mariners, Giants. Margevicius goes for the Mariners, and that is a cool last name.
Wow. Awesome.
Margevicius. That's a strong margarita.
That's okay. So recently, I've had a jalapeno margarita with the seeds in it and everything.
Was it Margevicius?
Yes, it was. It burned.
I don't like to talk about the back end of the night after having one too many jalapeno margaritas.
You can imagine.
Tyler Anderson, Mr. Anderson going for the Giants, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
The less we say about it, the better.
Yeah, so, okay, the hockey gets us through tonight. I've been loving the NBA playoffs every night. I heard a stat, blew me away. It is hard to imagine that Giannis, for all of his talents, for as great as he is, could be this freaking bad at shooting the basketball. He is considered, and depending on the stats you're looking at, one of the worst shooters in all the NBA. He is just a true big. For all of his efforts to extend and be able to knock down shots from 15 or beyond the arc, get him around the basket, utilize athleticism, get to the hole, all of that. He ain't making shots, and they love for him to shoot. If you look at the way Miami's playing, shoot away.
Well, Miami played them. Past tense now.
Well, right. I mean, just shoot away. Have fun with that.
It's the second round. It was supposed to be a classic between the Heat and the Bucks, and honestly, Milwaukee was lucky to walk away with one of them, that overtime game.
Yeah, I think good point by Greenberg earlier today. I saw him or listened to him talking about that series, and he brought up the fact that Giannis is at a crossroads now because he's won MVPs, and his team had the best record, and this mirrors what happened with LeBron in Cleveland, where LeBron was winning MVPs and his team would have the best record in the East, and then they'd go get their head kicked in. Now, LeBron would get them to the finals, but, they would go and lose, and at some point he had to figure out what to do. Well, that what to do was leave. He was like, okay, this isn't going to get it done. I'm going to leave. And does Giannis need to leave Milwaukee?
Well, and that's the speculation about next year. It's his final year. He's making $27.5 in the final year of his contract. And will Milwaukee get aggressive? They have to. They've got to make their pitch to retain his services now, this offseason.
Either that or trade him for everything.
Oh, but 1 year left. You'd have to do a sign-in trade at that point.
Yeah, you would. I don't know. I just it's fascinating to hear the talk because he's 25 and LeBron was 25 when all this went down, and LeBron rode out because he thought they're never going to be able to get the pieces around me. I can only get us so far. Does Giannis feel that same way? Now, Giannis needs a shooter. He needs somebody with him because he has proven now, despite and listen, this is admirable. To try to take your game to some other place, to say, I'm not just this big that can only score around the rim and go down the lane with my length and athleticism and score off the. I'm going to be a shooter. I'm going to extend beyond the 3-point line. I'm going to knock down the mid range. I'm going to create my own shot. I'm going to do all these things. It hasn't worked. He can't shoot. So, if you just accept that you're a big, and it's great that you try to expand your game, but the truth is you need to get, a Robin, if they will. If you're a Batman, you got to have somebody else that can knock down those shots while you're doing all the damage in the post.
That sounds like he belongs in Utah or Portland, some fun city like that.
But he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee to go to Portland. I mean,
he's wired a little bit differently.
Yeah,
though.
he is.
He's not looking like KD for, everything at once.
Can we do the same thing that we do with every other talented player that maybe has to leave a team from a smaller market? Can we just project that they'll go to the Knicks only to have the Knicks fans get excited and find out that's not going to happen?
I would take pleasure in that, actually, too. That
it's just fun to watch.
Because then Dolan would get his hopes up and think that somehow he can make a pitch, but everybody knows that he's just a joke. He's a joke of a person.
you really have that hatred. It's good that it's still there.
But it's well-founded.
Yeah,
This
it
is like
No,
open
he
and
is.
shut.
No, he is. So the Lakers, of course, have taken care of the Rockets up 2-1 now after that faltering beginning, and it had everybody believing that the Rockets were going to hang in there. They're not going to hang in there. They're not going to hang in there. The Lakers will win that series, and just like the Clippers are going to knock off the Nuggets.
The Clippers are rounding into form a little bit.
They are, and the Nuggets are a greater test in my mind. So, I mean, if they do this to the Nuggets, which they should, I mean, the Nuggets are a real team. So you win this 4-2, 4-1. Ooh, the showdown there is going to be fun.
Well, and then obviously, the one good series, I think, the one really compelling
Celtics,
series
Raptors.
is, Game 6 is huge.
Yeah.
These two teams are really tough. And those groups with Miami, who's a little bit listen, they've got some players with experience. Obviously, you have Iguodala and you have Jimmy Butler and other pieces off the bench. You've got experience. But for Bam, for Tyler Hero,
Yeah.
those guys are going to cut their teeth in that next series. And that could be really fun.
Yeah, I've loved this. I've enjoyed it. It's been on the back burner for me. It hasn't been my main thing, but I just like knowing that in addition to baseball, or of course, we're both in on hockey always with the Lightning, but in addition, I can always just flip over and find a compelling NBA game. The bubble has worked. It's been a raging success. A lot of great storylines there, too, in terms of players emerging in the bubble that maybe we didn't expect, to superstar status in some cases, to go along with teams.
Well, once again, the West is set for the long term. Even though we've seen kind of an Eastern shift in recent years where some talent has made its way over, and Brooklyn next year is going to be part of the equation.
Well, think about Brooklyn and Boston. Toronto's a good team.
Right, and Miami moving forward.
Obviously Miami.
But you look at Dallas and the things that they can do in the next 3 to 5 years. The Clippers and the Lakers for at least another season or two beyond this one. Utah. I mean, Dame out there is a wild card.
Utah, Denver, Portland, all
Denver,
those teams. Yeah. A lot of good teams.
Shoo.
A lot of fun teams there. All right, so it's all football. The time tomorrow is Redemption Thursday. Got a new feature we're excited about there. That's going to be a lot of fun this week also. My mom makes her picks on Friday. Lee Sterling, back in the cut. He texted me yesterday.
I would imagine, and we've got to ask Lee what it was like not to have spring games. Just bring the Kleenex.
Nobody was more devastated besides Mike Norvell. Nobody was more devastated. Yeah, he's going to get choked up.
I would imagine you and your mom are going to reach consensus and take the nearly 10-point favorite Kansas City Chiefs in the opening game, right?
Already been decided.
Okay.
She already told me she's taking the Chiefs. I said, I'm taking the Chiefs. We don't have to pick it. That's fine. We got it. Then we'll be good to go. Either both win it, both lose it. Doesn't matter. We're good to go from here. So a new slate. She's determined. We'll see. I've got to. I don't take it easy on mom. So I want to win and I want to dominate.
4 or 5 times a year, I go, my God, I would have been disciplined heavily for language like this.
Well, we talk candidly to each other. I mean, she calls me sometimes disappointed at me. And she speaks in the way that I speak, so we get some of that.
I could see how your vernacular got the way it did.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Coming up next, Seminole Headlines. Stay tuned.